We have a stand-up comedian going to do a little set for us here. He is a local guy from St. Louis. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob LaChance is here for him.
Yeah!
Woo! Yeah!
Hey there, everybody. How's it going?
Great!
So,
We're good.
Good. Glad to
my
have you.
name's Jacob LaChance, and my family steals things frequently. From each other, yeah. I probably should have explained that better. We only steal from each other. But not exclusively. I should probably give you an example. My sister Bridget was short on rent money a few years ago, so she went to her parents' house to see if she could borrow some money. Or like that's essentially what she did. She came to her parents' house to borrow money. What she literally did was go through like the pockets of all the clothes in her parents' attic, and she found like over $100. And yeah, Bridget's still borrowing that money because, like, I mean, stealing things has really developed into this sort of like sport for my family. Like there are teams, and there are like rivalries and strategies, game plans, and of course, you have to have winners and you have losers. And there are definitely losers when my family steals from each other. My mom tried to like get some money from my sister Bridget's purse one time, and she found my sister's dildo instead, and my mom lost that round. My sister won. Like the strategy of hiding dildos like places to stop people from stealing things from you is pretty much unrivaled. She, like Bridget, my sister, moved out of her parents' house like over 10 years ago, and she still has like a room full of her old stuff there. And my family just refuses to go through it because like we don't even talk about it anymore. There's too big risk of finding like dildos. And like we've been through that once. We're not doing that again. We've learned our lesson. We don't steal things from Bridget. At least most of us don't. Now there's one person who has been able to defeat my sister in the sport of competitive larceny, and that is my second sister, Katie. Now Katie is the older one. She's older, wiser, better at stealing things from her family, better at preventing our family from stealing things from her. Example, Katie once had a canister of mace explode in her purse. And she didn't just get rid of the purse like a sane person. What she did was just place it in the middle of her room as bait. And once you know, Bridget fell for that bait and decided to steal the purse for a night out. And you don't immediately notice that a bag you're carrying had a can of mace explode in it. Bridget found out when she got a piece of gum from the purse and then had to call the owner of the purse to find out why her mouth was now bleeding from gum. And because Katie's ruthless like that, she once lived with her aunt, and our aunt is nice, so most of her family has declared stealing her belongings to be off limits. Not Katie, though. And there is also one other important detail about our aunt they should know. She travels a lot. She really enjoys traveling. And when you have a ruthless thief living with you, you can't take that risk anymore. Because when you travel, all you're doing is giving that person enough time to do a deep dive into your possessions. You give them time to find the things that you didn't want them to find, like the things that you've hidden from them for years. And during one of my aunt's extended trips abroad, my sister Katie did just that. She got into my aunt's basement, deep into my aunt's basement. There were walls of boxes that my sister had to rearrange, which took hours, but paid off because she eventually found a huge like black trunk in like the far end of the basement. It was covered in all like several boxes, and my sister moves all these boxes up from the trunk and then prepares to raid the trunk and see what hidden objects she can find. And the first thing that my sister pulled out of my aunt's trunk was like this large red blanket. And she unfolded it completely to see if there was anything that was wrapped up inside it that was protecting. And she unfolds it, and it turns out that it's not a red blanket. It's a red, like a big red flag. like king size blanket big, with a big white circle in the middle. And in the middle of the big white circle, in the middle of the big king size blanket of a red flag, there was a big black swastika. Yeah, I know there's just kind of silence on the other end. That's how my sister pretty much reacted too. Like, you don't always find fun secrets when you're trying to steal from your family. Sometimes you go through like all the coats of the attic and you like make up some rent money. Sometimes you find dildos. This time my sister found Nazi paraphernalia. And so my sister called my mom to see why there was a giant Nazi flag in my aunt's basement, while sobbing and cursing a lot. Now I've done like the best I can I cleaned my sister's part of the conversation up a little bit, but I've done the absolute best I could to keep what my mom said as accurate as possible. And this is how that phone conversation went. But, Mom, why does your sister have a giant Nazi flag in her basement? Where in the basement? That's how my mom answers questions. It was in a big black trunk in the corner of the basement. Mom, why does your sister have a giant Nazi flag in her basement? Oh, that's not her flag. Mom, why is there a giant Nazi flag in your sister's basement? It belonged to Grandpa. And then Mom hangs up the phone. Because that's how she ends the conversation. Just like, yeah, Grandpa's in hell. Leave me alone. I'm busy. Dang. So my sister calls her back. Mom, why did Grandpa have a giant Nazi flag? Because Grandpa fought in Germany during World War II. Stop calling me. I told you I'm busy. Mom tries to hang up the phone, but my sister catches her this time. Kathy Tucker, why did nobody tell me that Grandpa was a Nazi? What are you talking about? My mom answers questions like she's being interrogated by police for a crime that she just absolutely committed. So my sister's on the phone, she's like, you just said that Grandpa fought in Germany. Yeah, for America. He wasn't a Nazi. It took my sister 6 questions and 2 phone calls before she was able to get my mom to just explain that our family didn't have any Nazis in it. 6 questions, 2 phone calls. Yeah, Grandpa fought for the Allies during World War II. He wasn't a Nazi. He killed Nazis. Hell yeah. And this, he killed Nazis and he kept trophies. And this is when my sister looks back at the trunk for the first time since removing the flag, and she notices the flag was covering up uniforms, rings, patches, more flags, and a gun, all of which used to belong to dead Nazis that my grandpa killed and then stole from, because my family likes to steal things. Anyway, that's my story. Thank you all so much. How do I turn this camera off now?
Woo! Nice job, Jacob.
Well done. Yes. Sorry, I couldn't find the button.
Good
Excellent.
job. Thank you, Jacob.